Hey, this is Daniela Cambone. Welcome back to StansberryInvestor.com. Joining me today ahead of the great Bitcoin versus gold debate featuring Michael Saylor and Frank Giustra is Kevin O'Leary. He's the star of ABC's Shark Tank, and he's going to be doing some pre-debate analysis with me today. Kevin, thanks so much for joining me ahead of this much anticipated debate.
You know, I feel like one of those refs in the middle of the ring where you pull down the mic and you say, now for the really big event, Giustra versus Saylor, come on down.
That's exactly what I feel it's like as well. And I thought you'd be the perfect person to join me for this pre-debate analysis since, I know you've had exposure to gold and you're a recent convert to the Bitcoin side, so you can really provide some balanced points of views here. But first, for the folks who perhaps have been living under a rock and haven't heard about this much type about debate, it features Michael Saylor, who's the CEO of MicroStrategy and has become a flag bearer for the Bitcoin community. He also made headlines when he moved a large portion of the company's cash into Bitcoin. And on the flip side, for gold, we have Frank Giustra, who, especially for our Canadian audience, is a mining legend. He was behind the creation of some of the world's largest and most important gold mines. He's a financier and also a very prominent philanthropist. So he's going to be bearing the flag for gold. So my question to you, Kevin, is first and foremost, what is it about this Bitcoin versus gold debate that has people so divided?
Performance. Clearly, if you're looking for hedge against inflation or against fiat currency risk, which is now being concerned or becoming a concern globally because of all the printing presses going on in Europe and the US, the thing to have held for the last 24 months has not been gold, it's been Bitcoin. And so that's why there's so much focus on it. There seems to be a tendency, and it's accelerating quarter by quarter, for institutions to start allocating to Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is sort of the gold of cryptocurrencies, and you could consider Ethereum the silver, I think, at this point. I own both, but I also own gold. And I own gold because for centuries, it's been a hedge for stability in portfolios and for inflation. And, it's just recently in the last 5 years where people have begun to realize that maybe there's a different way to play this, and it's called cryptocurrencies. And I think some of the luster, that's which great adjective, on gold has come off because people have allocated more capital to cryptocurrencies, notably Bitcoin, than gold, particularly in the last 24 months.
Right. And I think that's, part of why Frank Giustra has agreed to do this, because he's seeing and hearing the rhetoric that's being put out by the Bitcoin crowd and obviously taking a chunk here out of gold's market share, Kevin. So I guess, if you're Frank Giustra, right, what points would you be hammering Michael Saylor on?
The long-term continuity of gold as a hedge against inflation is undeniable. There's no question that other trends have come and gone, but gold has been a constant since the times of the Romans when they were mining it on the island of Cyprus. Those mines still exist. And so, at the end of the day, you have to hand it to gold for being a long-term glean of value. The other issue, if you're really concerned about hyperinflation and the ability to have an asset that is a solid asset. Now, the trouble with crypto, you can't really see it. You have to hold it in a wallet. It exists in the ether, the digital ether. Gold, you can actually physically hold a bar of gold. Now, that could be a pro or a con, depending on the way you think about it. But you think about the people that came out of Germany in the Second World War, the asset they held was gold. And that worked when they landed in New York. That was still of value to people. And gold was the currency that actually was the constant during these turbulent times. Now, will that be the case with crypto? It's too early to know. It's too nascent. It's too early. So I think Giustra will push on that. The problem is going to be the debate that's going on with institutions that we have to touch on around sustainability models and ethics models for both those asset classes.
Kevin, but what about the regulatory risks? If you were Frank Giustra, wouldn't you really be honing in on this as well?
Yeah, I think I would be. I would be talking a lot about the regulatory risks, not just domestically, but internationally. But the problem there, and what Saylor is going to push back pretty hard on, obviously, is that the regulators are loosening all around the world. The Canadian regulator has been very forthcoming, and now we have ETFs that hold Bitcoin. You've got the same situation going on in Switzerland, France, Germany, Australia, New Zealand, England. In fact, the whole Eurozone is opening up to the concept of cryptocurrencies, and the Chinese government themselves have issued their own cryptocurrency, an official government regulated currency that Chinese people are starting to use within the country. Now, you wouldn't want to own that currency because it's on the blockchain and the Chinese can actually identify what you own and turn it off and stop you from trading it. So I think that's going to be a tainted currency for a long time. But what's happening and why Giustra is going to have a very hard uphill battle is the momentum against him is huge. It's mountainous now. There's just so much interest in crypto at the institutional level and so little interest in gold that I think it's a very tough debate for Frank to win. And I predict at best a draw, but I think Giustra, he's going to fall down on this one. I feel very sore. So, I'm going to send him some roses. He's going to be crying soon.
Okay, but so you've mentioned, okay, so you're clear with that. You think Michael Saylor is going to come out the winner in this, and really the points he'll hammer home are price, the momentum, the fan base behind crypto?
Well, look at the momentum on just valuation. Just look at what's going on in the valuation and what's happening with gold. It's not increasing in its total aggregate valuation. It's been kind of stuck. Meanwhile, the momentum is all on the side of cryptocurrencies. I mean, there's many cryptocurrencies making huge moves. Now, yes, it's volatile, but gold too is volatile. It goes through 10-year stretches where it doesn't even do anything. Now, I own gold. I have a 5% weighting in gold. To be specific, 2.5% of it is in physical gold. I pay the storage. 2.5% is traded in ETFs that hold gold. And the reason I have that liquidity in the ETF is so I can rebalance to a 5% weighting each quarter. Buy up when it goes down, sell down when it exceeds a 5% weighting. And I use an ETF to do that. I could never do that with crypto until recently. And if I wish to, I could buy an ETF now and do the same thing. I could hold Virgin coins in a wallet, my own private wallet if I wish, and then trade around it. But then there's this new problem. And this is where I hope you steer that debate. And this is brand new. And I'm trusting you're going to do this. When you mine gold, you rape the earth. The amount of carbon that you create mining, digging, scratching, blowing stuff up, processing the gold, taking out, the other elements of it is just brutal in terms of a carbon footprint. It couldn't be worse. I can't think of anything that causes as much pollution as mining gold. And then you look at Bitcoin, where you've got a situation where this has been flagged by institutions that are watching Chinese burn coal to create electricity that then is converted into Bitcoin. But there's a whole new generation of miners emerging in the Nordic countries, in northern Canada, in Sweden, in Switzerland, in France, where they are using hydroelectricity, sometimes excess hydroelectricity, and flaring off nat gas, where it's being burned already, to create electricity. So they're doing it on a carbon neutral or reduced carbon footprint and creating an asset that doesn't have as much, sustainability issues that gold has. I don't think Frank can survive that discussion. There is no clean gold. There's just no green gold at all. It takes a tremendous amount of carbon to extract it from the ground. And I think that's going to be start to be an issue for institutions as they allocate. Even though they have no regulatory concerns with gold, they're going to have sustainability concerns, just like 64% of the coin that's been mined in the world today is now being flagged by institutions that have sustainability and ethics committees saying they do not want to own Chinese blood coin. So you've got a lot of currents flying around. This should be a really great debate.
I'm definitely going to go there on definitely have a topic on the environment and energy consumption. And I guess just, on the gold mining side, yes, they don't hide the fact it's been a very dirty business. Now they have made great strides in regards to ESG and whatnot. And I know that Frank Giustra is now involved in, mining the ocean floor. And is that cleaner? And is that the direction that we're going to be heading into the future? But definitely an important topic.
Well, you can play this clip for Giustra. I call BS on mining the ocean floor in terms of sustainability and green. The amount of rocks he was pulling up in that video looked like a thimbleful every 2 days. That's a joke. And I understand he's trying to reflect some of the, abuse being thrown at him by being a miner. I mean, you think about the most unsustainable career you can have would be mining precious metals. And that's something Frank has to own up to. I want to hear him dance like a leprechaun about how green he is, because I don't think he's green.
Wow. And you guys are friends, right, Kevin?
Well, I'm pulling off the gloves. I got to come out swinging. I'm just saying. I'm telling you, when Frank tells me he's green, I call BS.
Wow. All right. Kevin O'Leary, you heard it here first. Thank you so much. One thing's for sure, it's much anticipated. They're two titans in their respective fields, and it's going to be awesome. I could tell you I've been speaking with both gentlemen every day, Kevin, and I believe they're both going to reveal things we've never heard before.
I can't believe you got these two on the same debate. I think the world's going to explode and the internet's going to shut down. I think it's very important. I totally agree with this discussion because it's going to be of great interest to institutions who are having these debates internally right now about the sustainability of holding gold, the sustainability of holding Bitcoin if it's not ethical and it's not virgin. These are huge debates, and it's the right time to have this discussion because there's so much interest in both asset classes, the downside for gold and the upside for Bitcoin.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And thank you for joining me here for this great pre-debate analysis. You're awesome as always. Come back anytime to StansberryInvestor.com.
Take care.
Don't forget to register. You can get premier access to watch it. Go to DanielaCambone.com, sign up free. It airs April 21st. You don't want to miss this one, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in.